Welcome to Hairblazers, the podcast where we empower you to disrupt the beauty industry, starting with your chair and your salon. You can focus on running your business and tune in here to find out how to keep it moving forward. I'm Colleen Lamran, the Director of Education and Business Development for the Verde Salon Group. And today we have a very special guest, the man who needs no introduction, but I will anyways. We have Gabo with us, salon owner more recently, which is very exciting, and we'll talk about that.
Yes.
North American Artistic Team member.
Correct.
For color, very cool.
Yeah.
Fashionista.
Wow.
What else do we have?
I may or may not. Fun fact, I was born in Venezuela. I came to Canada 13 years ago, and I started with the Vera Institute and Academy. I just came here to learn English, to be honest.
Wow.
And then after that, life just started happening to be like immediately. As I was learning, as I was in the process, actually, hair school was part of my ESL program as well. No kidding. And I went to the Vera Institute and Academy in Toronto, graduated there. And it was just a blessing. Ever since I graduated, I immediately, I started with Chavelo at the Chavelo group. They legit just said like, choose where you want to go, which location. I chose Queen Street West, and it was fantastic. It was a great learning experience. Later, like maybe 3 years later, I became part of the Canada Creative Team. So I had the honor to be in a few congresses on stage with the creative director then, Christian Aiden, and also go to Master Jam in Milan with Ray and the whole team. So that was such a great learning experience and very inspirational. I always had inspiration from mom and dad. They were hairdressers the whole life. So as I always said in my first Instagram post in my salon, the hair salon was my daycare. I was always in the hair salon playing with perm roads, you name it.
Sounds like
so I was never really afraid of it, but I never thought I was going to become a hairdresser up until I came to Canada.
Really?
Yeah. And then after that, I was for almost 10 years with the Chavelo group. I was just time for me to depart. I feel like I was just reaching a plateau where I wasn't not going to make any more money, or I don't know where my career was going to go from there. And to be honest, it was more the push from my close friends, my peers, my colleagues, and my clients. I feel like as a hairdresser, you owe everything to your clients, to your guests. Without your guests, you don't have anything, because really they are the ones that bring the business to you, encourage you, and they keep you alive. As long as there is always that respect and that beautiful reciprocated relationship between the two of you, you're gonna be a successful hairdresser.
And so your guests and your friends, peers, they were the ones that convinced you to open a salon yourself.
They legit did. They were like, Gabo, when are you opening your own salon? I'm like, well, when are you sending the funds to my account so I can actually start this
Especially in
project?
Toronto. And you have a pretty nice spot there as well.
I was really worried about rent, the space. In fact, I was telling yesterday, Oksana, I was saying like, hey, this salon was always in my mind when I was building my own and designing it and helping the designer team, because I love aesthetics, how clean it looked, the vibe that it was here. So
here.
Yes, Verde, yeah.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
and also merchandising and bringing your own stuff. Like, you inspired me so much when we were chatting at that time. So I came up with my own brush from the get-go.
Awesome.
So that was also a great idea. And but no, as soon as I started like knocking, as we said in Spanish, like knocking at the door doesn't mean you want to get in. It's just, you're just knocking. So it's either to say hi or to whatever. So when I started like reaching out to everybody, I feel also like hairdressing is such a networking career. Always take the time to ask everybody, hey, what do you do? Well, oh wait, whenever I need help, I know where to go. And you definitely, most likely, these people are going to help you out then, because you're helping them to make you feel beautiful and making them feel their best. So when I started reaching out to all these people, everybody legit rallied. What? You're opening your own salon? What? This is happening? Let's do it. Oh, I'm going to help you out. I can take care of this. I can do that.
That's so wonderful.
So at the very beginning, everyone was like, so who's working with you here? And I was like, no one, because it was just me and my almost 2,000 square feet place. And but I was like, well, how dare me to say that nobody's helping me out. I had like 6 people in the background, like my accountant, my
That's
lawyer,
huge.
my husband was a big
Mm-hmm.
support. I was like, you are the general manager now.
He's like, am
You take
I?
care of inventory, you take care of this, you take care of payroll. And
Team effort.
yeah, and then I have my mom and my dad, which I'm so lucky. After 6 years, I brought them here to Canada. They now live with us. It's been an amazing support. They're my best friends, really, and it's a beautiful relationship. We always feel like modern family when we see like the interaction between David, my husband, my mom, my dad, and I, and everybody was like, "You guys live together? How's that going?" And I'm like, "It's actually going really well. What do you think we're still living together?"
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. That's a lot.
Latinos,
of,
we have a different relationship with their parents, to be honest, and they're very easygoing and they just contribute a lot to our lives. They're still very young, and so they just are a lot of fun to be around.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, what would you say is the most like challenging? I'm sure there were many challenges, but the most challenging part of opening.
Not knowing liability and the things that are a little trickier as a hairdresser, right? Like we're very crafty and we're really artsy, so sometimes we don't quite take the time to read in the fine prints per se, or like things that sound a little more technical kind of scare us, unless it's hair coloring.
Yeah.
And even though hair coloring, I feel like when it gets too technical, it gets scary for people. Same with hair cutting. So for me, it was just like the unknown. I was like, I don't know how to approach the city. I don't know how to approach for this, to approach for that. And in a way, I don't want to sound negative because that's not my personality, but the city is not really quite prepared for new business owners. I have to say
I
that.
totally can understand
It is quite different. They say that, yeah, we support you, we want you to do it, but it works backwards. Like you need a lot of money before you can apply for like to rent the space. But like, how do I ask for a loan if I need a loan? So, or like the permit works this way, but to get this permit, you have to have this first, but I cannot have that first if you don't help me out
You
this
almost
way.
have to prove yourself before you.
So it goes like very backwards in ways. So I was at times I was like, I'm not gonna open this. This is not gonna happen. I don't know how that's gonna work. But again, every friend, family member, they just rally and I'm like, no, this is happening. And they really, little by little, just start opening the path and the way for me to succeed and to do what I love the most. And to see my dream, honestly, since I started it, everybody was like, what is your final goal or your dream? And I was like, well, eventually I feel like every hairdresser wants to own their own space and be their own owner. So when it actually happened, I just couldn't believe it. I still pinch myself, Colleen, to be honest. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, this is mine. I'm like, my name is at the door. So yeah,
you love it so much.
And I'm right in the same street where I've been working for almost 10 years, just
Blocks
like
away.
a kilometer and a half away from where I was. So, and it's a very hipstery area, very happening. A lot of local designers are around. It's a beautiful vibe, close to one of the nicest park in the city, Trinity Bellwoods. So it's a very lively area, and I'm really happy and I'm very grateful. And the Avera family has always been extremely supportive. Had the honor to host Expresión Creativos in the.
I was going to ask you about that. That was the coolest thing because when I entered the contestants, every time I always have inspiration from them. So tell us a little bit about that. Yeah,
I've been following them for years. Little thing you know, like next thing you know, I get the SDP call, a call from one of the SDPs in Ontario at the time, and he's like, "Hey Gabo, so Expresión Creativos is gonna host one show in Canada only, and it's gonna be in Toronto. We were wondering if you could help out with the prepping of the models and all the other things." I'm like, what? Absolutely. Tell me which floors I need to sweep. What do I need to clean? I'm no master, nothing. I'm here just to meet them. I was just, and I feel like that's something that no matter what position or what level you are or whatever title you have, always put yourself in the most humble position to be next to a peer or next to somebody that you know you're going to grab and get inspired. So egos for me, they don't really work. And that's something so beautiful about this team. They also are like egoless, to be honest.
It's so important.
They are so warm. They were so nice. And the first thing they teach or they tell you when in the class is like, there is no levels here. And what they mean with that, because they speak Spanish, obviously, they're from Spain. It's like, there is not, you're not higher than me. I'm not higher than you. I'm not more than you. You're not less than me. So that's something very beautiful from them.
I am you. That's exactly what that means.
Get out, my friend. You see, there you go. I'm getting goosies.
I know.
But beautiful story. Greg, the SDP at the time, he calls me and he says like, well, your salon is gonna be almost ready. We were wondering if we could prep the models at your space. And I was like, what? What?
Is this real?
I was like, I was just screaming. I'm like, keeping it together. And then you say, I'm like, I think so. There shouldn't be a problem. I'm like, keep it cool.
Let
I'm
me
cool.
just
I'm
check my
fine. I'm
calendar.
fine. I'm cool. Let me check my calendar. No, actually, yes, a big opening that day. Yeah, not doing anything. And then we hosted 2 workshop classes in there. I felt very honored. Even my Aveda family were like, what a way to open up your salon. Eh? Hosting a heck of a class and having all the support from your family here, like your Aveda family and your family, my mom and my dad and everybody. I now have a bigger team. I have a makeup artist and I have another dualist. They are fantastic. Courtney and Veronica, they are very talented. And I'm really happy to have them. They bring so much good energy and positivity to the space. And most recently, I'm just looking now to grow the team a little more. I kind of wanted just to mingle myself, see what my responsibilities were, how I can manage to, if I can support the place myself, like financially and like money wise and everything. Like if I can take control of what I took on before bringing and taking the responsibility of somebody else. Because hiring somebody, you actually, it's not like they work for you. You ended up working for them.
Absolutely.
And it's important because they look up to you and you, it's your responsibility to help them grow and to see how you can help them out to keep going with their life, right? Like their paycheck depends on you. Everything depends on you in a sense. So that is also one of, not difficulty, but something that I learned along the way. It's been just 7 months, but 7 beautiful months, and I'm forever grateful. And I've been able to learn like incredible amount of knowledge being a business owner now.
Yeah, that's so wonderful.
I'm still getting the hand of it. I'm still
have
to be on all the honors calls.
So
I already got one. I'm in the meetings now. I have it in my schedule. I have it in my calendar. I'll be there. But I was
it's different.
At the beginning, I was like, do I need to be on this call?
Yeah, you're like, oh wait, owner.
I'm like, one more Zoom call, no problem.
So if you could tell yourself, or like go back and tell yourself like one thing before you started this entire process, what would you tell yourself?
Before I started this process, why didn't I start earlier?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I feel like most of the things in our lives that stop us from doing things is fear and not having the knowledge. But sometimes you don't have to have knowledge to start an activity. Sometimes you just have to be inspired and follow your gut and your heart. If you know you're good at it, if you know you have good intentions, as I always say, when you drive yourself with good intentions, there is no bad outcome because you don't have that maliciousness. Is that right?
Yeah.
In your heart or in your mind. So you don't have that negativity backing you up. You just going with your best, with your heart, with love, with again good intentions. So the outcome has to be something nice. I haven't seen the first person that replies to you after you say, like, "Hey, good morning, how are you doing today?" And you're like, "Stop asking."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That doesn't happen.
True.
But if you drive yourself in a different manner, then maybe the answer will be differently. So I feel like if you have a good something in your gut telling you go for it, or like let's just go and write it, then I think you should do it.
Just do it.
You're never prepared. It's like having a kid, or like getting, God forbid, or getting ill. You're never prepared for those situations. So I feel like, as we said in Spanish as well, you are the size of the commitment that presents in front of you.
Say that again.
You are the size of the commitment that presents in front of you. So if you have a big commitment, then you're gonna perform to that level, because you know that you can do it. We're humans, and one of the things in the humans is survival. We are gonna survive. That's when we are in like situations of risk or a lot of danger. Somehow we're like, I don't know where that strength came from, and I don't know who that person was, but I ended up performing differently. So those things are gonna happen whenever you are in a situation that you feel like, oh, what is gonna happen, or like extreme. You are gonna react to it. So apply that to even the things that scare you the most to succeed. What would you be afraid? Like you're afraid to go on a roller coaster, but at the same time you're excited, and you put yourself in the situation. Then take that and apply that to your life. I'm like, I'm scared to start this business, but I'm gonna put myself in this situation, and I'm gonna enjoy the ride.
Well, and that's how you get kind of to the next level. And I probably said this many times before in this podcast even, but I love the term or the phrase, when's the last time you did something for the first time? And for so many of us,
sometimes every day.
For you, it is, but you know what? For a lot of people, that's not the case, right?
I just love doing the, like, I was telling the group yesterday when I was teaching, I was like, you know what? Sometimes I'm like, I'm not gonna start your highlights in the front. I'm gonna start in the back.
Oh,
I'm gonna
that's
start
badass.
like in a corner. I'm gonna start in the middle of the, right here at the apex. I'm like random stuff, just because I love switching it up. I get bored quite easily.
Mhm.
So it's just a way for me, it's a mechanism for me to keep myself entertained and inspired. I feel like as we hear from multiple peers and artists, inspiration comes from everywhere.
Absolutely.
You never know. Sometimes even cleaning your shoes, you're like, ooh, maybe I should polish somebody's head
I don't know if I'm
or
cleaning my
stuff like
shoes.
that. You know what I mean? It's just, so never take or leave opportunities, just give them for granted.
And it's funny because you're talking about starting like a foil placement in a different part of the head.
Yeah.
It seems like such a simple thing, but like when we have new talent stylists coming from school, and you have to be more regimented in school, right? So you learn
Yes.
a certain way.
Yeah.
The idea of even starting in a different area in the head
Yeah.
is terrifying.
Terrifying.
So you almost just have
Why
to
would you do
break
that?
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Can
is
I
not
can I
okay.
do that? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
So I mean, it goes. I mean, that's such a small thing, but it that's sort of how it works in life too, right?
Yeah, it makes a difference. And to be honest, it's just like, it's good at the beginning because we need to learn how to walk before we run, as I say. Or like for you to break the rules, you really need to get them to know very well. So it's good to learn from a structure, so you develop a more organized habits and better patterns to perform.
Absolutely.
As I was also sharing with the group yesterday, I'm like, it's always great to have good posture, to have your tools super clean, because just put yourself in situations where, like, we always carry ourselves like we are artists, and we're sometimes so our ego, right? Like, oh, I am who I am, or I am the artist, or I'll make you look beautiful, so you don't judge me. But the whole thing is like, how do you feel when you go to a restaurant and your calories are all over the place, or the table is not clean? Do you want to really sit there? No.
Doesn't matter
So,
how good the chef is.
yeah, so same thing on how beautiful this place look.
Absolutely.
But if that area specifically looks so messy, then you look messy by default. So take the time to present yourself in the way that you want people to see you, because that speaks a lot of your character and who you are. And the more organized that you look, also the more that people are already at ease and confident that, okay, this is gonna turn out really well. But when you look very disorganized and messy, then you look like you're frazzling. You don't really look so artsy. So that's always a recommendation that I give to people, because it really helps out. And I think out of our North American artistic team auditions, we learn a lot how to be like, not even mid. We were like, can I move? Yeah, just an unrealistic way sometimes, because performing for a video or to teach a class is different than when you do it in regular life, to be honest. But it's great to practice and to know that those are great habits and best practices to learn, because it really set you up for success.
And it's looking like with fresh eyes, because you can get so used to seeing something over and over and over again, you don't even notice it. So you have to pretend like, okay, I've never been here before, I'm gonna walk in, what do I see?
You know what, I always also tell people, before, back in the day, it was always like, put your formulas in the computer. That's great, because it's great to keep track and to open files for our guests, just like doctors, just so we know where we started from, what we did in the past. So it's easier for us to maybe know how we're going to approach or tackle the next situation or the next hair color change. But what I always say is, like, have that for your personal information, but do not check those formulas right from the get-go. Wait until your client comes and come for the formula from your head. Then go, I'm like, I was thinking I was going to do this. And then double check, like, you know what? I was in the right track. Because that way you train your eye better. You're not used to just doing the same formula all over and over and over. Also, our guests travel just as we do. So, and people do different things in their life, and things happens to people in their life as well. So their color may not be exactly the same. You may want to add a little bit less pigment than what you did before, or a little bit more, or maybe the client just comes to you and like, oh, I want to change. Absolutely. So we should never have ourselves into that pattern that, like, I'm gonna do this and it's exactly this. And that's just a really good way for you to train yourself and to do something different every day.
That's really smart, because I mean, the number one reason that guests leave their stylists is they're bored. They're bored. And so I think that's a great way to keep stylists from
excited.
Yes.
The stylist and your guests, because at the end of the day, it's all about the guests, as we said.
It is. It really is. So if there was one piece of advice you could give to a stylist or individual who's looking at opening their own salon business or spa business, what would it be?
Start looking what a business plan looks like, and start doing your research about the tiniest thing. So for me, it was very scary to hear the word business plan, and up until today, I hate the word, but it really helps you out and it sets you for success. Because out of that is where everything is gonna come and everything is gonna unravel. It's where you're gonna have all the information that you really need to make your dream happen. So how do you start your business plan? What best practices to do? Legit, I started building my business plan on a trip to Ottawa with my best friend, which is my marketing girl now, and she's full on taking action in the with the Instagram and with the marketing side of the salon, which I'm really happy. Just started like last week, so I'm really excited to see how it's turning out, and I see the growth. But what I was gonna say, I started just doing, like she said, like easy. How many mirrors you're gonna need? How many chairs you're gonna need? How many sinks you're gonna need? So start just doing all the research of how much that is gonna cost you. So start scratching the numbers. That is the most important thing. So start really developing your business plan. So when you go to the bank, if you need a bank loan, or whenever you go to an investor, whatever is happening, whatever is your case, then you have like a really solid kind of case to plead or to show that your plan is gonna work out.
You have something in place.
Yeah,
they're gonna get their money back.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. So and just be realistic and be honest. What is your also study? We know our best year and our worst year. So crunch, like take the time to really visit those numbers and be honest to you, because that's also gonna give you a sense of how you can manage or what you can do in a year. Just counting, and I always say, like, I'm not gonna build a business plan like I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3 stylists because I have 5 chairs, because I can't really do projections of expectations of somebody that I don't know. I don't even know what they're capable of. So do it based on you, and then the rest is gonna be, as we said in English, gravy.
Well, love it. Great. That is great.
Very Canadian as well.
Everything you said sounds so nice. When you said, I was like, let's talk about expression creative. And you're like, expression creative.
Expresión creativos.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it also keeps you from like overcommitting, and starting to maybe hire someone out of desperation rather than like they actually belong on your team.
Yeah, it's nothing more scary than exactly what you're saying. Then imagine you hire somebody and then you can do their paycheck. That would be devastating. You know what I mean? So it's really good that you start from you first, like as everything, start from the inner side, then everything else can come out.
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me in Toronto. You can find me at my salon at Gabo On Queen, 668 Queen Street West. That's the address of where my salon is. You can find me on Instagram at Gabo Hernandez Rojas, or you can find the Instagram of my salon, which is at Gabo On Queen. And feel free to DM me. I'm an open book. I'm always very friendly, and I love chatting with people and getting to know new people. In fact, I met yesterday an apprentice. He came all the way from downtown. It took me an hour to get here, but I really wanted to meet you. It was such an inspirational story because he's Latino as well, and he was just saying, he wrote a really long message, and I was very inspired for what he said.
Very excited,
and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the time, and I went. We went for a coffee, and then we chatted, and I told a little bit of my journey, and he may be moving to Toronto, so I'm like, well, check us out. Maybe I would need to hire somebody in the.
You never know where you're gonna meet the next person.
Know. So that's where you can find me. Those are my my handles on Instagram, and or if you want to come and visit me at my location.
And if any salon owners, stylists are listening, I highly recommend getting Gabo to come into your salon and teach, because he's an inspiration.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I love having fun with people, and I love getting to meet new faces and see what are they doing, because I actually learn a lot from everyone. I'm teaching, but at the same time, I'm learning. I see their habits. I see what they're doing, how they're placing their foils. And I also love hearing and picking their brain, how they're formulating. Absolutely. And stuff like that. So it's a really great way to feed yourself as well.
Well, if you want to learn, teach.
Exactly right. That is actually very true.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, Gabo.
My pleasure.
All right.
Until next time, friends.
Good night.
Ciao.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to leave us a review, share with your team, and tune in for the next episode.